Hello and welcome everybody back to the VAU mic check. It has been so long and we missed you all. How's it going? How's your 2017 so far? No, it's only been what, 7 days? It's only been a week, but I hope it's been going great. Yeah, we're jumping right back into the mic check. This time we're going to be going for a longer script. It's more story intensive. And the first performance of 2017, the 2017 season of the VAU mic check goes to John Stafford. John, whenever you are ready, go.
Thank you, sir. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to my driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers, we were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are stores, and is that supposed to say then there are all the UPS stores? I'm sorry.
It is supposed to say then there.
I think I edited that out. Excuse me. Take two. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. Then my business took off. It looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers, we were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always a 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So, not only does the new boss have the shipping together, he also knows my name. I dropped a word there. Did anybody pick it up?
I did not. Which word did you drop?
I'll remember now.
Well, did anybody have any input for him? Any thoughts on the performance?
Was it storytelling like enough?
It actually, to me, felt more like a cold, just like a cold list. It didn't feel like much of a story. Because there are subtle little emotional cues to go along with it, like right at the very beginning. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. It's like, how stupid is that? And with the performance he gave, it's like, it was just more like, oh, my name is Joe. You know, like, well, I mean, he was wrong, but whatever.
So a little more exasperated on the that part.
Yeah, I mean, this is just imagine, like, put yourself in a position where you've started up this new business and, you know, now you have to deal with being a successful business. Also, if we wanted to go super technical, I am timing these. You were about 4 seconds over the mark when it came to time.
Yeah, I started feeling like I needed to tighten it up there a little bit.
So, if you do want to stay within the time limit of 60 seconds, then, yeah, you might want to tighten it up just a bit. But, yeah, just throw in a bit more emotion, a bit more character, have more fun with it. And, tighten it up just a touch. You're pretty close to right on time, but yet just a touch.
Anything from Nathan or Shane or anyone else listening?
Yeah, I thought it was conversational, which I thought was a nice touch. But I agree that the storytelling part of it could have definitely used some spicing up a little bit.
A little flat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit on the rigid side. Needed to loosen up a little bit more.
All right, then. Here we go. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit. Opened my own business, became a competition. First, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. For 9-to-5ers, we were 24/7ers, and I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Nice. I like that. What did you guys think of the story this time around?
That felt more storytelling.
I tripped over my tongue a couple of times.
Yeah, I thought that was much better.
Thing of it is, with this tripping over your tongue, you plowed right through it, and you managed to keep up the pacing.
How'd I do on time?
You were 2 seconds over.
Yeah.
That was from the tripping over the tongue right there.
Yeah.
I'll fix that in post.
You literally would have been right on time if you hadn't have tripped over your tongue right at that last little point there.
I notice I tend to read a little slower than some other talent out there. Whether that's just something with me naturally that I speak a little slower than the average person. I do hear a lot of reads where they tend to have a fast.
I don't see that as being a very big problem, because like Nathan said, in post, they're gonna probably they'll edit out your breaths and do that kind of stuff. So and they'll probably leave a few seconds of time to tail out for just picking up room tone. So they're probably going to take the breaths out anyway. So they can make that work generally.
Yeah. Couple tenths of a second here or there adds up.
Yeah, they can't. But the other thing is if you're hired even for a 60-second spot like this, you're being paid for an hour of studio time. So they're going to want to get you to read it as close to right on time and as close to perfect as absolutely possible.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably going to be run through the ringer a couple times just to get it right on, because they've got this hour of studio time and they're going to make the most of it.
I did a piece of copy of this length that had to come in under 54 seconds.
Sure.
It took a few.
Oh,
readings.
gotcha. And that's the story. That is the story of my life in radio.
Oh, yes.
Is 70 seconds worth of copy that they won't fit into 54.
Yeah, so you have to talk ridiculously stupid fast.
Yeah.
Although there is a technique that studio owner that I know of told me about that they use to cut that time down. And what it is they edit you to talk over yourself slightly. So like they'll take the end of one sentence at the beginning of another and barely overlap them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just barely kicking in right as you're ending the sentence. And that helps to cut out on time without being too overtly noticeable.
Doesn't it tend to sound a little unnatural, though?
It does, but that's used mostly for things like disclaimers or
sure, yeah.
The legal notice at the end of some commercials and whatnot.
Yeah, it's got to run in 7 seconds or something.
Yeah, exactly. They give you 14 seconds of dialogue and need it in half the time, so they'll go ahead and make you talk over yourself, edit out all breaths, practically all spaces. You already have to say it as fast as you can while still sounding clear.
Aren't there ways in editing of kind of compressing that time too? And
Yeah, they can digitally compress and make it a little bit faster, but not a lot. That's
No.
too much, and it really sounds bad.
Especially when you're trying to fit it into a television schedule. I've had to play with this stuff a lot myself. So
what do you think? Again, or move on?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much right on time. If you want to go ahead and button it up just a bit more, to do it just a little faster, then you'll be spot on.
All right. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit. Opened my own business, became a competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. And the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I called our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we were 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. We needed somebody to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always a 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. Now, not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Yeah, I noticed you changed things up just a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of words he changed.
Yeah, so instead of "so I talked," you said "so I called." For instance, those specific ones I picked out.
Yeah,
but no, you actually had a little more breathing room this time. You were 5 seconds under.
Yeah,
which actually is not bad at all, really. And I had to do with pulling and changing just a few of the words he said. Plus, instead of pulling out a full "and," he just like "and Joyce."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that but the thing is, that's totally natural. Yeah, it's totally natural talking. So.
Yeah, that was intentional.
He also changed the one that I needed someone. He made that one I needed someone.
I was thinking in my head as I finished reading, like, what did I just? Where did those words come from? I've been reading about how we're supposed to be trying to lift words from the page and do more from memory. Although I don't think this really applies. And I was like half reading and half trying to remember it. I guess I didn't do a very good job.
Well, that's the thing. Just a tiny bit of read ahead, and I know sometimes you have only so much time to work with copy. It depends on what you're doing, like when I did the FCC spot for the TV station, I had like maybe 45 minutes to just kind of go over the copy and then get in there and read it a couple times. You recorded it. Good. Thank you, Nathan. And then that was it. But it's just like so much time to look over the copy, and you have a lot of copy to look over on this one.
Yeah. It's first 60-second that I've attempted.
Well, still, between the last read and this one, I think you did a fantastic job. I think, in editing, they'd be able to put together a really solid read.
Oh, yes, definitely.
It's been 6 weeks, unfortunately, since I've recorded anything with going out of town and then coming back deathly ill. You can probably still hear a little bit in my voice. The worst case of bronchitis I've had in years, and I had to be back in here with you guys.
Well, we're glad to have you back. And hopefully this coming week, you'll your voice will be back in full, and we'll be able to really dig into probably a shorter script, so more reads in.
Yep, little by little, day by day, it's getting a little better. Thanks.
All right. So, who is willing to go next?
I'd like to go next.
All right, Nathan. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name's Joe. So I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, it was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick from UPS. I told him we weren't 9 to 5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone perfectly to mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning, Rick's asleep, there's always 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Say my name.
I think you may be having connection problem, Nathan, or maybe are you clipping or something?
And
Yeah, we keep. There should be. There's little pops.
Yeah, I keep getting those pops too. I'm getting them on my side as well.
yeah, it might be coming through network related. We got a bucket load of snow sitting on the cables outside, so God knows.
Oh well, that should actually help them to work a little better because electronics work better in the cold. Well, not excessive cold, but anyway. Yeah, I thought the storytelling was great in it. Of course, you realize you had your several little flub-ups, but that's why we have a first read that's sort of a throwaway, but an initial look at your performance. So I don't know. Does anybody else have anything that they noticed that they wanted to say about that first read?
Just a couple of things I wanted to see accentuated a little bit more. We're not 9 to 5ers, we're 24/7er. Just a little tiny pause between the two and a little more emphasis on the 24/7ers. Also, talk to our driver, Rick from UPS. It's like the first and one of the only mentions of the brand in the whole piece of copy. And I just thought that needed to be accentuated a little more too.
Okay.
Yeah, UPS are supposed to be the saviors in this whole thing. They're supposed to be, the knights in shining armor.
In fact, did they even mention UPS other than that one time?
Actually, twice.
Yeah, the UPS stores.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a UPS, and UPS stores. Yeah, 3 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since Michael edited it and put it back in the chat box, it doesn't fit. Let's see. Okay.
Sorry.
No, blaming me. I appreciate it. First time it was a little wonky.
But yeah, I'd say go for another read. This time we'll go ahead and time it. And let's see if you can get the story in the allotted amount of time with as few mess ups as possible.
Okay.
Challenge mode. Whenever
My
you're ready.
boss. Okay. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit, opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. Then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick from UPS. I told him we weren't 9 to 5ers, we were 24/7ers, that I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city. If we're out and about, then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
All right, so accounting for the flub ups, It looks like you might have been 3 to 4 seconds over on time.
Okay.
Because I clocked in at minute 8. So, but other than that, no, I thought the story was told very well. I thought, beyond the couple little flub ups, that it was a really solid performance. What did you all think?
Well, I don't know.
I thought that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded good. I don't know if it's the popping or if you missed the word, but I didn't hear the word "but." Then the business took off, and it might have been because there was a pop in there, and maybe that cut it off. I don't know, but it sounded like you just said then the business took off.
I think I heard it.
Okay, it might have because with the popping in there, I might have missed it.
Yeah, I think the pop hit at the same time I was speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I definitely heard it.
Stuff.
Okay, then you did it.
I'm going to see how this turns out in the recording. I really am.
Well, hopefully it is just the weather, and when it clears up, connections will be A-OK once again.
Yeah, I've had to do a lot of tweaking on the network connections in here. Since we had a power outage not too long ago, it affected everything. So it may be on my end, maybe. And for that, I apologize. I am working to fix the situation. God, I sound like I do at the TV station. Hey, we're trying to fix it. We're doing everything we can to stay on the air. All right, let me try this. Go through this one more time.
All right, one last one. Let me go ahead and reset it. All right, whenever you're ready, go for it.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit, opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we were 9-to-5ers, not 24/7ers, that I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city, if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
And there's the infamous silence. All right, what did you guys all think?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I think it was the best take yet.
Yeah.
Especially the first
Yeah, I agree.
The way you tied together, name's Joe, quit, open business, came competition, it just flowed real well. It's kind of a list, which is always tough, and you made it work real well.
I've been staying in practice for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, not me.
Well, there is one thing that I noticed.
Still needed to work on the Sid Lexics moments.
Yeah, there was one a little bit of one in your read. You said that in the 9-to-5ers and 24/7ers line, what you said was that we were 9-to-5ers, not 24/7ers.
Transposed the line.
Yeah, it was a little bit backwards there. But other than that, the timing looked like it was okay. It looked like the storytelling was, right on the dot. It was just the words that got flubbed up that time.
Okay.
Well, in the interest of time and the length of the script, how about we move on? Is that all right?
That sounds good to me.
All righty then. Who would like to go next?
I'll take it.
All right. Let's go. Oh, yeah. No, first one's a throwaway, so don't worry about the time. All right. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
All right. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Didn't sound like a cold read to me.
Yeah, that was very, very good. Like for a first read, that's really awesome.
This guy
You
does
were
this on a
probably
daily
right on time.
basis.
Yeah, except for that ever so minor flub up at the beginning. That was
Yeah.
flawless. And yes, I'm going to point those out, but no, they're not 100% avoidable. So forgive me.
No.
It's just something to pay attention to. That's all. Well, why don't we go ahead and time this one? Let's see
Okay.
if your timing skills are on par.
I would like to think that after 25 years in radio, instinctively they would be, but we'll see.
Yeah, Shane's got a nice little leg up on the rest of us.
Yeah, I know. Well, time to put it to the test. Whenever you're ready, Shane, go for it.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we were not 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Wow. Would that I could hit a time constraint that effortlessly.
That close, huh?
Yeah. Well, no, barring my my inability to stop my stopwatch directly on time, my stopwatch read 102, but it took me about 2 seconds to shut off my stopwatch. So yeah, you're pretty much right on time. That was essentially perfect. Well, there you go. If anybody else needs some great advice, just do what Shane did. Love it.
I thought it was really well read, Shane. Both the takes, there really wasn't a whole lot of difference, very consistent between the two reads. I like your instincts for where you accentuated certain words. You did something I haven't heard yet where where's the line here? I need somebody to mesh perfectly with my needs. Of course, that's one of the most important things, that it's, the business is tailored to your particular needs, and just accentuating that one word really kind of brings that out.
It's advertising is, one of the first things you're taught in radio is that, it's all about you. Whatever is being sold to you, it is all about you, and how it benefits you. That's.
It just there's a world of difference between saying perfectly mesh with my needs and perfectly mesh with my needs.
Yeah.
Night and day. And the way you went through the storytelling at the beginning, how the whole thing came about, quit, open a business, yada yada, it just felt very natural. So yeah, just very.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say to that. That's pretty much it. Like you hit everything right. The instincts were right. The timing was right. It was just best read so far.
Yeah, it was very
Best
good.
read of the mic check award goes to you.
Now, give Jim and Takia a chance.
Dude has a future in commercial VO.
Which is a good thing because that's most of what voice actors are going to come up against.
Yes.
Most of the mountains you're going to tackle are going to be commercial voiceover. Alrighty then. Well, since it's going to be really difficult to follow that up, who wants to follow that up?
I'll give it a shot.
All right, Jim.
I'll give it a shot. Hopefully I can manage here because I got to read this off of the chat box because for some reason my cut and paste doesn't want to work.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I have to reboot the computer or something to get it to work. But anyway, I made it full screen, so I went up to scroll. Type's a little small. Let's give it a shot.
All right, whenever you're ready, go for it.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out. The scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were so busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. And that I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine for UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. And then there are the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always a 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does my new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
All right, first read, what did y'all think?
That was very good. He did alter one word.
Yeah, too busy.
And where it says that works out just fine, it was like just fine for UPS, which I mean, you know, it's kind of a semantics thing, really. But he kept it conversational.
For UPS instead of with UPS. Okay. I got you.
Very believable, very relatable read, though.
There's a nice guy next door thing going on.
Yeah.
All right, so all in all, great read. Why don't we go ahead and time it this time?
Okay. Give it another shot.
Yep, whenever you're ready, go for it.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe, so I quit. Opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like things got out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers, and that I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. And then there are the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always a 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does my new boss have the shipping together, he knows my name.
Wow, okay, yeah, you were definitely well under time there. Coming in about, what was that, 54 seconds, roughly?
Well, that's big
So you got some wiggle room.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought I was going a little bit fast, but felt like it.
Technically, it was just a touch, but I mean, I don't know. Did anybody want to peek out and say anything about it? Because I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good performance altogether.
Felt conversational. It didn't feel like he was rushing through it. it just, coming from a place where I come from a place where there's a lot of people who talk fast because, well, one, they're transplants from other places like New York City. So
New York City.
yeah, got a lot of fast talkers, people who just they're always seem like they're in a hurry. And I mean, I kind of grew up that way myself. And so it just seemed like he was from that particular place and just being conversational in his own normal way.
I do tend to talk fast.
It didn't feel rushed. It just felt normal. And
yeah, he's got a fast pace, but it didn't sound like he was rushing at all. A couple little, I don't know, nuances, maybe nitpicking, whatever. I'm thinking the 24-hour Dropbox, then Joyce regained her color. I think there's supposed to be maybe a little note of levity to that, a little, humor thrown in, maybe even a little chuckle as you're saying that. Just wondering if that's not the copywriter's intent. And Shane is the only one that treated this. That try to read as much about this business as possible, and the finer points and punctuation. And Shane's the only one that treated the comma before Rick from UPS that actually heeded that comma. But I'm wondering, does it give different meaning to it if you do? Because everyone, including myself, read it. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. If Shane read it, I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS.
That is a good point, John, but I'm also wondering if naturally people would ignore that comma anyway. I mean, if you're in conversation or if you're telling a story, would you just kind of ignore that comma?
It doesn't seem natural. But on the other hand, the copywriter put it there for a reason, we hope.
A lot of times these copywriters, they don't write for conversation.
Okay.
They write because they're used to writing, and they write it as you would write it, but not as a person would actually say it.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times, and I took a couple of copywriting classes in college, and it kind of seemed to me like a lot of times the teacher or professor, or whoever it was first and foremost about proper English rules rather than conversation. And you find out very quickly in advertising that it depends, and it depends on what you're going for. If you've got if John Houseman is your spokesperson, then you're probably going to adhere to the English rules a little better. But if it's just if it's two people in conversation, or if it's a storyteller or something like that, you're not always going to follow the English rules. So I guess it depends. It depends, and 9 times out of 10, a copywriter is not going to give you his or her intent. So you're guessing anyway.
Right.
Houseman's a good example too, because I heard some stories about him from somebody who worked with him, and she said that he could only use cue cards when he would perform on a particular show he was on back in the 80s. So most of the time, it was the 80s, and coming away from the 70s, teleprompters were kind of new still.
Yeah.
But, from what I understand, he had to have cue cards, and he would read his lines off of cue cards while he was performing.
Well, cue cards don't scroll.
He was doing on camera what we do here, and I guess they would have a guy with a cue card. I mean, I remember his scenes almost vividly for some reason, but I do remember his scenes like when he was on, what was it, Silver Spoons. But he would do what we do here, and it never seemed like he was reading, But then again, it was John Houseman. So.
Of course, the key probably doesn't even know who John Houseman is.
Oh yeah, probably
That's
not.
okay, neither do I.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're a Seinfeld fan, that's probably as far into the 90s as it got. Do you remember the scene where Jerry says something about the guy's got a good John Houseman name.
Oh.
Alec Berg.
Unfortunately, I was never much of a Seinfeld fan myself.
Neither was I. I thought I was the only one that never watched Seinfeld, but I guess there were a few of us.
Not ringing any bells. Sorry. I did see like a snippet of episodes or two, but I didn't watch the whole series or anything. So
The Paper Chase. He was the Paper Chase and Silver Spoons was his.
Yeah, you know, he also did the commercials for Smith Barney. But we make our money the old-fashioned way. We earn it.
Oh, yes. I remember that slightly gravelly voice with a British accent. We earn our money the old-fashioned... Well, wait a minute. We make our money the old-fashioned way. We earn it. He would draw out that last line. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, the perfect voice for that, too. We earn it.
Classically trained actors are the ones to really watch while you're training for anything acting related, you know, because there's just things about their delivery and about their performance that if you assimilate that into yourself, it's going to change the way you perform, and it'll actually improve it and bring you up a level. And you can really tell the difference too. If you watch some of these older shows and watch some of the newer stuff that's on, you can tell how things have morphed and changed in the way people are. Because, and I've taken note of this a lot recently, that watch some of these older shows, they enunciate, they actually speak with a fully open mouth, even though they're mic'd. And it's like, I can understand everything they're saying, even though they're in a crowded room. You know, and I know sweetening the audio has a little bit to do with that. But at the same time, you look at the newer stuff, and I've got the volume levels at blood red and still can't understand a thing they're saying. You know?
Because they lack that classical training and that stage experience that some of the other actors in that period had.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, as actors, us, as voice actors, it's a good idea to pick up on that and learn that classical style. And that's one thing I've been taking into consideration over the last month or so was I was watching somebody perform on mic, and I was watching how she's enunciating and working her mouth. And it's like, okay, I need to try doing that a little bit more when I read, you know, just to see how it shows up better.
I think you have to be careful, though, because if you're consciously enunciating, it comes through and it sounds like you are.
Yeah. Well, not quite an attempt to, but actually just kind of a practice at thinking to do it while I'm doing it, to where it becomes a regular thing of enunciating properly.
Practice.
Yeah, exactly. And even when I'm having a regular conversation, I'll just kind of think about how I'm saying something to someone or speaking to them.
That can be a problem for dramatic actors, getting conversational. Some of them have a problem with that, especially if they're trained like Shakespeare or something like that, where they're really into the drama. Getting conversational can sometimes be tough.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. I'm going to kill him.
All right. Well, shall we get back on topic here?
Yes, let's get back on topic.
Anyway, that was your moment in the mind of a voice actor. All right. So we've had everybody but Takia and myself go. So, Takia, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next?
You're also muted. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Never mind. You were muted, Takia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had my mic on mute for a little while. But, sure. I can go next.
Go for it.
Alrighty. One question, and I think I always ask this when we get a script like this. But since I'm female, could I possibly change genders?
You're Jane.
Yes.
We did have a mic check about this before that I believe you were part of. That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure because I know most. I think we had a mic check before that I couldn't change genders because of script policy, I guess. So I couldn't change gender for that particular script. So, but okay. My boss called me. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Samantha, so I quit. I opened my own business, became the competition. At first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to that I needed someone to perfectly match with my need. It turned out that worked just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have her shipping together, she also knows my name.
Okay, I don't know if you noticed at the top of the script, but there is already a female version of the character's name.
There is?
Yeah, it's Jane. You see
I
there's a
didn't
slash?
get that. I didn't get that one.
When you edited it,
Yeah, Michael, I think when Nathan resent it, I don't think he put Jane in there.
When Nathan resent
It's
it,
not
he
on mine either.
cut out the
Yeah.
Jane.
Yeah, I don't have
I
it
had
either.
my copy. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
okay.
But no, that was you did a good job at switching over the gender and keeping it going the entire time. So
Okay.
I thought the last few sentences, especially, were probably the best part of your read. Just the inflection in your tone, where you were telling the story, it really kind of worked for me. Really, even the last couple sentences, not only does this new boss have a shipping together, he also knows my name. I thought that was very well said. Had a little bit of humor and subtext to it, and very personable. So
Yeah, I think she was getting
Oh,
comfortable with it at that point.
Yeah, the storytelling really kind of improved as you read.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just keep practicing reading aloud. It'll keep helping you out.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And remember, when you're storytelling, you're a character. You know, you may not be something over the top and, you know, wildly animated, but you're still
Yeah.
a character, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, you're Jane. You've been called Terry by your boss. You're pissed off. You want to change that, so you're starting your own business and getting away from the golden handcuffs.
You're doing it. Fight the power.
I don't know if I've heard that term
okay.
before.
And you're telling a nice little anecdotal story about how your right-hand woman freaked out because the shipping was not getting taken care of properly. So,
So what was her name again?
Joyce, your right-hand woman, and you are Jane. Okay? Not her, but you.
Okay.
You are Jane. You say that. Okay, I am Jane. And then use that I am to put you right in the middle of the story.
Okay. So what does my boss call me again?
Your boss is calling you Terry.
Oh.
Terry, get my coffee. Terry, go get that stuff off the copy machine. Terry, get in here. Terry, what do you want for lunch?
Oh, this is on your lunch.
So there's your thing. Okay.
Okay. So I noticed everyone else was being timed.
You want to try staying under a time limit too?
I could try it. I don't think I'm going to do a really good job, but I can try it.
It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to go again and you want to try the timer.
Better be safe. I'll just go again.
Okay, so no timer?
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't know if I will. I don't feel confident with the timer just yet.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and give it a go from the top?
Okay. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Jane, so I quit. I opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control. And Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked with our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly match with my needs. Turns out that works fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always a 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the boss have her shipping together, he also knows my name.
That awkward silence when you're looking for the unmute button. All right, good job. I didn't notice any major mess ups this time around when it came to the reading, so looks like you're definitely improving.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you grabbed a hold of that I am, and you went with being who you are in this story.
Okay.
See, that changes it up when you're doing one of these. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're doing a promo, audiobook, whatever you happen to be doing. When you are in the story, you are that character, and you have that character's confidence. You have that character's mindset. You're dealing with that character's fears and wants and needs. All that sort of thing. And that's what this person's got out here. This character's trying to reassure Joyce. You're trying to reassure Joyce that you got the shipping taken care of because you're hooked up with UPS.
Mm-hmm.
And so your driver, Rick, well, he takes care of business. So, and I know everybody probably got that reference in there. But you see what I'm saying, though? You've got that character down. When you've got that character down, you flow with this stuff, So every time you look at a piece of copy, especially the storytelling copy, just use that technique. I am this character, and this is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking, because it helps you quite a bit. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can feel it that way. So, yeah, it does help me a lot.
Well, good. That's getting into character 101 right there from our resident character actor. Alrighty then. Well, I guess that leaves me with our final performance. As you can already hear from the background, it's making my dog sick that I'm even going to perform, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway.
Poor dog.
He's okay. He just coughs every once in a while, and it sounds like he's hacking up a lung, but he's totally fine.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Alrighty then. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit, opened my own business, became the competition. And at first there was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. And then the business took off. It looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers, we were 24/7ers. I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out fine with you. Just fine. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 in the morning and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
Oh, that was good. Conversational.
You're the first one that picked up on the sort of almost a double entendre of the having his shipping together.
I was trying to go for that, but not be like.
I wondered if I was the only one who got that.
It was subtle, but it was good.
Yeah, because it just pretty much, you landed right in there, and because it's like not only does my boss have his crap together.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of picked that up that was sort of the point of that line right there, that it was meant to be like, a reference to something else.
And in a sense, Joe is has noticed that his old boss didn't have his crap together. Because there's also kind of a backwards reference to my old boss didn't have it this good. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know my own name. Nobody's calling me Terry anymore.
Well, can somebody time me on this one?
I'd have to get up and go grab my phone if somebody else has one handy.
I got it. I can do it. I got my stopwatch here. I can get it.
Okay.
Let me see here. Okay.
Because I'd like to see if I can actually stay within the time limit.
Okay.
Was there any particular acting, anything that I should change? Anything that doesn't sound quite right? Or should I just go for it again?
Yeah, see if you can do that again, because it was a pretty good read. The storytelling was good in it, especially, there's another character in here, which is Joyce, which I somehow feel that you brought a little bit more life to in the few words that she exists in. Because, Joyce is all part of this too. So, yeah. That was good instincts there.
All right, well, let's do this.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit, opened my own business, became the competition. At first, it was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
You're a little bit over, 101.
Ah, man.
That could be easily fixed in post.
Yeah, a little flub there. That's all that was.
Yeah, there was a little flub.
1 second, probably just a breath that needed to be taken out. Because it really, he kept it conversational and just kept it paced right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oops, sorry about that.
A lot better than my 54.
Well,
You treated that one a little bit differently than last time, and differently than anybody else had with meshing with your needs. It's about no one emphasized my needs, but you emphasized mesh with my needs as a phrase, which worked well, really. A little different, but it's good treatment.
Okay. Do you guys mind if I try one more time?
Go for it.
Because I really want to see if I can hit that minute mark. Was there anything else that anybody noticed that maybe, I should pay more attention to or change or anything like that?
No, I think it was covered.
All right. Well, from the top.
Whenever you're ready.
My boss called me Terry for a whole year. My name is Joe. So I quit, opened my own business, became the competition. And at first, it was a lot to figure out, like scheduling, supplies, shipping. So I hired Joyce, my right-hand woman. But then the business took off. Looked like it might get out of control, and Joyce went a little pale. We couldn't keep up with all the shipping because we were too busy with everything else. So I talked to our driver, Rick, from UPS. I told him we weren't 9-to-5ers. We were 24/7ers. That I needed someone to perfectly mesh with my needs. Turns out that works out just fine with UPS. They have a daily scheduled pickup, or we can schedule a late pickup. Then there are all the UPS stores all over the city if we're out and about. And if it's 2 a.m. and Rick's asleep, there's always the 24-hour drop box. Joyce regained her color. So not only does the new boss have his shipping together, he also knows my name.
58.91.
And even with the flub up. All right. Did it.
Perfectly timed commercial spot.
Whew. Well, thank you very much for the opportunities to land that.
Yeah, the only minor criticism I'd say is that you treated it a little bit differently. I think it's because you had that little flub in the middle of the sentence there. Turns out that works just fine with UPS. It's the UPS with UPS sort of trailed off. The inflection went down. It just seemed like you're slightly marginalizing the brand a little bit there.
Okay.
Turns out that works just fine with UPS or actually it was read more like, turns out that works just fine for UPS, and sort of trailed and dropped a little bit in tone. Where I just kind of feel like the brand's only mentioned a couple of times. Maybe need to punch it a little bit more that time. But
did anybody else notice that?
Am I out there alone on that one?
No, I agree. Without that flub, you probably would have come in right at 58 seconds, which would be right where you want to be on a 60.
Yeah. Now, in an actual session, it would be just do a pickup on that one line right there. Turns out, and they would just replace the line, and we'd be good.
Yeah.
Because really, that's all it needed. It's very consistent, too, from read to read. I mean, if there was anything, there was very subtle differences between them. It was very consistent.
All right. Well, I think this is probably a good time to go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, good job, everybody who participated. Thank you very much for joining in. And we'll see you all next time.
Oh, yes. See you next time. It's going to be a great 2017, guys.
Yep. Happy New Year to everybody.
And we are.
Bye, John Boy.
Bye, everybody.
So long.